On the sun-baked plains of South America, a tiny architect awakens before dawn. The Rufus hornero, Argentina's strawberry, armed with the mud, is about to build a fortress. Every single morning, this industrious bird collects up to 300 individual loads of mud. Each trip a small piece of a dream, storms, predators, and the passage of seasons. The nest of the Rufus hornero is an engineering masterpiece, built from thousands of individual loads of mud, reinforced with grass, and hardened by the sun into something as strong as ceramic. Woven into every layer of wet mud, these fibers prevent cracking as the clay dries, binding the structure together from the inside out. The hornero understands tensile strength long before any human engineer gave it a name. Both the male and female hornero work together on the nest, taking turns carrying mud and shaping the walls. Their partnership is extraordinary, not just a bond of affection, but a working relationship, shared labor, shared purpose, and a shared vision of what the finished home should look like. Before any mud can be used, it must be worked to exactly the right consistency, not too wet, not too dry. The hornero tests every load instinctively, rejecting material that won't hold its shape and seeking out the perfect clay-rich mud that will dry into permanent stone. The nest takes between 5 and 6 weeks to complete. Day after day, load after load, the walls rise higher. The hornero never uses a blueprint, never measures a wall, never steps back to consult design, yet the finished structure is always the same, a perfect dome with a curved internal partition that creates a hidden inner chamber. The inner wall, a curved partition dividing the nest, is the most technically demanding element. The bird works upside down, pressing mud overhead until it bonds, showcasing sophisticated avian architecture. When the nest is finally complete, it weighs between 4 and 9 pounds, an astonishing mass for a bird that itself weighs only an ounce and a half. This is a structure to last not one season but many years, enduring heat, cold, and violent storms that would destroy any lesser construction. In seconds, has measured the compressive strength of dried hornero mud and found it comparable to low-grade concrete, a remarkable achievement for a bird building with raw materials gathered from roadside puddles. After every storm, while other birds resettled after every rain, no torn roof. The hornero simply desiderated as their infinch. The final stage of nest preparation is the lining of the inner chamber. A soft, warm bed of moss, feathers, and fine plant fibers, making a bed for children not yet born.
And forays equally, and both parents sheaves their long chicks while the other forages for food, pertaining non to eating duties or fruit.
The hornero's nest is not just strong, it is a fortress designed with predator defense in mind. The curved internal partition means a snake entering the front chamber cannot simply reach through to the eggs. It must navigate a 90-degree turn in near total darkness, and the hornero is there at every moment screaming defiance.
It works. More moss, more does another structure below the mud where the walls may take cursor to fear. Not flight, not paralysis, but the quiet, determined continuation of the work that makes survival possible.
The nest wins. 4 to 9 pounds of sun-hardened clay, built by a bird weighing 1.5 ounces, successfully repels a hawk weighing 40 times as much. Hatching is entirely the chick's work. The parent cannot help. Any intervention would damage the fragile membrane beneath the shell. So the adult sits and watches, patient beyond human understanding, as its child fights the first and perhaps most difficult battle of its life, the battle simply to be born.
Born blind, naked, the hornero chick, ain't a simple heartbeat, he was into to mind, must think else, day by day, must think acquired.
Within days of the first hatching, a second chick emerges, and then often a third. The nest fills with life, with the soft, constant sounds of hungry beaks and the gentle shuffle of a parent settling over its brood to share its warmth through the cold nights of the South American spring. Eggshell removal is one of many instinctive housekeeping behaviors that the hornero practices with religious consistency. A clean nest is a hidden nest, and a hidden nest is a safe. The feeding demands of newly hatched chicks are extraordinary. Both parents must forage continuously from dawn to dusk, bringing spiders, insects, small worms, and grubs. From inside the nest, the entire world is framed by an oval of light at the end of the entrance tunnel. This is the chick's first view of the landscape it will eventually inhabit, the vast savanna beyond the mud walls, brilliant with sunlight, full of food and danger, and the endless possibility of open sky.
And releasing it slowly through the colder nest remains one moment taken for eggs to continue developing without an escapes. In the second carrier of an unexperimented hornero nest,
Work without pause. There is no day off, no reduced effort, no moment of rest that is not immediately followed by the resumption of labor. This is parenthood at its meration survival. Outside the nest, the hornero is a relentless forager, working methodically through every available microhabitat: leaf litter, bare earth, grass roots, the margins of puddles. At the entrance of its parent's fortress, the young hornero contemplates a world it has not yet entered. Every evening it practices this vigil. Looking out, fledging approaches. The wing exercises become longer, stronger, more confident. The chick's body is ready before its courage is. This threshold, from above, the savanna reveals its true nature as a community of builders. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of hornero nests visible from a single vantage point. Under the stars of the southern hemisphere, the hornero sleeps beside its work. Tomorrow, the mud collecting begins again, because even a finished nest needs maintenance, and because somewhere nearby, a second nest is already being planned. The hornero is never done building.
to hear a hornero song is as to hear the sound of a wanarking or someone the cigarette for setting. To hear a memorial royal seminal on verb
and the home is secure. But out of the same for everything this bird does, a small crack spotted early can be repaired as a structural problem. The Hornero is its own property manager, its own maintenance crew, its own quality control department. The Hornero never stops doing two things simultaneously, building and foraging. Every trip to the mud puddle is also a potential hunting trip. Every foraging expedition passes the construction site.
When the lightning strikes and the rain falls sideways, the wisest course is simply to wait in whatever shelter is.
The Rufous Hornero is found throughout the open lowlands of South America, from the Cerrado of Brazil to the Pampas of Argentina and Uruguay, to the Derecho Belgrano of Bolivia and Peru. While habitat has devastated countless other species, the Hornero has expanded its range by exploiting structure of human settlement, fence posts, lists of zone. Each pair of Horneros typically builds a new nest every breeding season, not abandoning the old one, but constructing fresh beside it, so that the same tree branch over many years may. The Hornero is predominantly territorial during the breeding season, defending the area around its nest aggressively against other Horneros. But outside the breeding season, individuals may gather in loose groups at communal-rich foraging areas. Their social bonds looser, but their tolerance of one another higher than the fierce exclusivity of the nesting months. The best mud sources are the key resources in any Hornero territory. Rich clay deposits at the edges of seasonal ponds or rivers that expose fresh material as the water levels fluctuate. The Hornero is an opportunist in its building materials, collecting not just clay and grass, but feathers, animal hair, spider silk, lichen, and almost anything soft and fibrous that will add either structure or the structure. One adding material to the outer wall, while the other shapes the interior. They're separate conjured and coded not in any individual mind, but in the coordinated behavior of a pair. The top of the nest serves as a lookout, a singing perch, and occasionally a dining table. From this elevated position, the Hornero has an unobstructed view of the surrounding territory. The interior of the Hornero's nest is maintained to a standard of perfection that the exterior need never reach. The inner chamber is inspected and repaired after every storm, every inspection, every visit. And the needs to, predators are still present. Virus we still needs what Horneros do, but because singing is what Horneros stint. It is the symmetry, the laudable, and the non-nerostes. This Hornero wakes and sings and begins again, building a whole way building. Extraordinary and time, the Hornero.